Yes, people. At the Lion King again, no? This video I'm gonna come back with. This one is about tragedy, questionable tragedies we meet with some artists, entertainers, meet in the industry. Questionable circumstances by which enough of them get past. Does the government have something to do with it? Why am I say that? Most of these artists were passed by means of tragic, questionable circumstances. My reason for saying this is, if you check them catalog, released or unreleased or interviews, them in some way had said something that somebody somewhere in government or connected with government or a government organization find offensive. Or somebody with the backing of government, when no government people have them back, find offensive to them. Take set up the person's debt. You take it from 4 Jamaican major words. We get shot at dance. We supposedly a claim say a accidental shooting, gun salute, whatever. When people in the know say it was directly murder the policeman, go murder him at the dance. Check now for the other dancehall DJ them. Enough for either they are prison right now or dead. Just check now for the others, man. Them had said something either in songs or in interview where them no like. And next thing, make government no like no for free artists them, especially the artists them where have a name that is not on birth certificate. Ninja Man, Dan Gargan, that is not the birth certificate name. That is not where him perform by. That is name where him perform by, not the name where them have you as stock or bond or shuttle. And that name copyright, you earn that are your copyright. You have control over that name, so that's why them always try to criminalize. Most dancehall artists, they always find a way to try to get you into slackness or into violence so that them can start stereotype, demonize, criminalize you. But anyway, this video is more about one way a colleague somebody where I know through the years, through the 90s, linked me and I said to me, say, this case is still unsolved. Sam Cooke. When the person hit me, remember the name. And I say, as I look at you, me used to hear them on the song on Sunday late Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday evening. At Jamaica, me used to hear them on the radio. And then I have this song where I produce with this brother. That's the reason why the person linked me anyway. Because him say somebody show him one of my video and he might hear the song tonight. That's why he have to link me about this case here. So I just book and type in the name and I look where him tell me if you look. So I look and I see it and I see a thing where rising soul singer Sam Cooke perished under mysterious circumstances in 1964 and the case is still unsolved. And it say in 1964 the US became more involved in the Vietnam conflict. The Beatles caused women all over the world to scream widely, and Congress passed a Civil Rights Bill Act 1964 now, which banned discrimination in the workplace and ended segregation in public spaces. It was also the 33-year-old rising soul singer and civil rights activist named Sam Cooke died. It was also the year a 33-year-old rising soul singer and civil rights activist named Sam Cooke died in the manager's office of the Hacienda Motel. The circumstances surrounding Sam Cooke's death were extremely questionable and, like some other suspicious celebrity ends, have never been fully explained. As a popular African-American musician who managed to impress audiences of all races, what happened to Sam Cooke was of great importance not only to music but to the civil rights movement as well. Although Cooke's voice helped make him a star, his determination to be in charge of his career made him a pioneer of the era. Some of the best Sam Cooke records include pop-friendly hits like You Send Me and Twisting the Night Away. And he sought out a way to form a more meaningful relationship with his audience. He championed desegregation and was friends with important civil rights supporters like Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali. It's possible this activism and his desire to do things his own way contributed to Sam Cooke's murder. He was shot by a motel manager, Bertha Franklin, on December 11, 1964. That I mean a belly. After checking into a room with a young woman named Elisa Boyer, although a jury deemed Sam Cooke's cause of death to be justifiable, the lack of witnesses and credibility of those involved left many to wonder about the true circumstances of his early demise. The world may never know the truth, but Cooke's legacy as a singer-songwriter and contributor to civil rights lives on. Alright. Researching the people involved. It says Cooke met Elisa Boyer while out at dinner with friends on December 10, 1964. That in the evening hours there, before him dead in the early morning, the night, later on the night. Right. Cooke met producer Al Schmidt and his wife for dinner at Martoni's Italian restaurant in Los Angeles. Cooke's popularity led many gawkers and people interrupting their dinner to talk to the singer. Other acquaintances eventually brought Cooke to the bar, leaving the Schmidts to finish their dinner alone. While at the bar, Cooke saw 22-year-old Elisa Boyer sitting in a nearby booth. Although she was with 3 guys, she and Cooke ended up in the booth alone together. Cooke and Boyer decided to leave Martini together around 1 a.m. Driving a recently purchased red Ferrari, Cooke drove Boyer to a club called PJ's to extend the evening. Cooke took Boyer to a nightclub where he allegedly argued with a man flirting with Boyer after leaving Martoni's Italian restaurant. Cooke and Boyer traveled to PJ's Club on Santa Monica Boulevard. Cooke had already reportedly consumed at least 3 martinis at Martoni's and continued to drink at PJ's. He also bought drinks for Boyer and others. Right. With my question so far. Remember, I must say, him see her in a nearby boat with 3 guys. Where did the 3 guys go that left the possibility that she and him end up in a boat alone together? Are these 3 guys a part of a plot to get Cooke? Alright. According to one version of the story, Cooke was supposed to be meeting with the Schmidts, whom he abandoned at dinner. But they had left the club by the time he and Boyer arrived. According to one version of the story, Cooke was supposed to be meeting the Schmidts, the time producer and his wife, for dinner, whom he abandoned at dinner. But they had left the club by the time he and Boyer arrived. He then reportedly became protective of Boyer and began arguing with a guy he accused of flirting with her. Cooke stuck around PJ's long enough to greet the many people he knew at the club before he and Boyer took off. According to Boyer, she asked Cooke to take her home. They left PJ's around 2 a.m. According to Boyer, Cooke took her to the Ascendia motel against her will. After Boyer allegedly asked Cooke to take her home, they got into his red Ferrari, drove down Santa Monica Boulevard, and got onto Highway 101 where Boyer claimed Cooke was speeding and driving recklessly. Boyer reportedly asked again to be taken home, but Cooke allegedly told her she was pretty, stroked her ear and said, "Don't worry now, I just want to go for a little ride." After driving about 17 miles, Cooke exited the highway at Figueroa Street and stopped at the Hacienda Motel, a seedy establishment known for room rentals by the hour. Could she be lying? Could she and the 3 men that she was with in the booth when he met her, could they have plotted for her to lure him to that hotel? Alright, we can continue. Located in South Central LA, the motel saw its share of rough customers, and since it was an affordable place that only charged $3 a night, Cooke's expensive car and snazzy suit most likely stood out. When Cooke parked and got out to pay for the room, he reportedly left Boyer to sit in the car by herself. Although she claimed to have repeatedly asked Cooke to take her home and allegedly did not want to go in the motel with him, Boyer remained in the car and made no attempt to leave. Bertha Franklin, who was working at the hotel front desk, noted that Boyer did not seem distressed. See it? She claimed she want to go home, but she sit down in the car the same way. And even the person who shot him, I go say, she did not seem distressed. Cooke allegedly left Boyer alone in the room, though she says he planned to take advantage of her. How come the man will leave you alone in a room if you don't want to be taken advantage of and you still stick around? Okay. According to Boyer, things turned ugly when she and Cooke entered the room. I started talking very loudly. Please take me home, Boyer claimed. He pinned me on the bed. He kept saying, we're just going to talk. He pulled my sweater off and ripped my dress. I knew he was going to hurt me. One version of Boyer's story suggests she tried to escape the room after Cooke allegedly pinned her up to the bed, but she couldn't open the window since it had been painted shut. She was allegedly unable to hide in the bathroom since the lock didn't work. Boyer told police that Cooke went into the bathroom at some point and she took the opportunity to run away. Grabbing clothing as quickly as she could, Boyer picked up a few pieces of Cooke's clothing as well. She then claimed she ran to the motel manager's office in an attempt to get help, but no one answered when she knocked the door. Afraid Cooke might come after her, Boyer said she ran away from the motel in her slip and then called the police from a payphone at 3:08 a.m. She told them, will you please come down to this number? I don't know where I am. I'm kidnapped. Motel manager Bertha Franklin said Sam Cooke broke down her door looking for Boyer. It is possible that Cooke emerged from the bathroom to find Boyer, his clothing and his wallet missing, and became extremely upset. They rob him, the whore. There's an whore in pickup, and the whore lead him to the hotel and rob him. Okay, that's what I'm right, that's up. It seems he jumped into his car and drove around the building to the manager's office, likely thinking Boyer may have gone there because Cooke was inebriated and Boyer took his clothes. He was only wearing one shoe and his sports jacket when he began pounding on the manager's door. We were gone with them pants full of money. Franklin was on the phone with the motel's owner, Evelyn Carr, when Cooke showed up and heard him yell, "Is the girl in there?" outside her door. Franklin claimed that when she told Cooke she didn't know where Boyer was and refused to open the door, Cooke didn't believe her and tried forcing his way inside. So if the girl wasn't in there, why not open the door and say no? Alright. It says Franklin shot Cooke in what she says was an attempt to protect Boyer. So if she wasn't in there, how are you going to be protecting her? According to Franklin, Cooke broke down the door to her office and the two began a physical fight. Cooke was taller than Franklin but weighed 30 pounds less. And the motel manager put up a fight. He fell on top of me, Franklin remembered. I tried to bite him through the jacket, biting, scratching and everything. Finally I got up when I kicked him. I ran and grabbed the pistol off the TV and I fired at close range 3 times. She missed twice. Although she missed twice, Franklin eventually pierced Cooke's left lung and heart. Left lung and heart, it so happened. Alright. According to Franklin, Cooke said, "Lady, you shot me." Before charging at her once more, Franklin claimed she hit Cooke in the head with a broom. You have gun in your hand, but you hit him with a broom, and he fell to the ground and stopped moving. According to motel owner Evelyn Carr, who was on the phone with Franklin at the time, she heard everything and hung up to call police when Franklin began firing. When the police arrived, Cooke had already perished. Franklin later testified that she acted in self-defense and wanted to help save Boyer. At one time, the discrepancies of the argument, the argument where these people get away with it. No. Conspiracy theorists blame the FBI, the mob, and others for Cooke's demise. Multiple conspiracy theories about what really happened to Sam Cooke have surfaced due to the questions that still surround his demise. Some people blame the mob for ending Cooke, since many African-American entertainers reportedly associated with underworld bosses in the 1960s to land gigs, and it's possible he ended up on their bad side. Rumors also exist about the FBI taking an interest in Cooke because he associated with Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. Other people noted that Cooke had recently experienced tension in his relationship with manager Alan Klein, who Cooke believed might have been taking financial advantage of him. It was Klein, however, who hired private investigators after Cooke perished in an attempt to discover the truth. As his career progressed, Cooke refused to perform at venues that were segregated, and he became involved in civil rights movement. Cooke made a name for himself as an entertainer for African-American audience, but his smooth voice and catchy music was admired by all audiences. This led some people to feel threatened by Cooke, not only because of his wide fan base, but also because he wrote his own material and created his own recording company to make sure he wasn't cheated out of royalties because of his race. Opposition towards Cooke was so great that the National Guard had to attend his appearance on American Bandstand because the KKK threatened the show. According to Etta James, somebody physically attacked Cooke before he perished. Although Cooke officially perished after he was fired at, singer Etta James believed something even more tragic may have happened. In her book, Rage to Survive, she claims she was allowed to view Cooke at the mortuary and says his body exhibited signs that he was physically attacked. According to James, Cooke's head was nearly removed, an injury not typically connected with being pierced in the chest. See, you know? Alright. James also reported that Cooke had a large bump on his head. His nose was broken, and both his hands appeared to have been crushed. While hotel manager Bertha Franklin claimed she and Cooke had a physical altercation and admitting to hitting him with a broomstick, James believes Cooke's words were too extreme to match Franklin's story. The mortuary reportedly placed Cooke in a coffin with a glass lid for visibility and covered his face with thick makeup. Cooke's case was closed and no one was ever held responsible. Police gave both Boyer and Franklin lie detector tests and both of them passed. If the FBI involved, they gon' pass. Cooke had a blood alcohol level of 0.16 at the time of his demise, double the amount for legal intoxication. Cooke's money and credit cards were missing and Boyer didn't have them. Since DNA testing was still a long way off, authorities completed no physical exam on Boyer to look for evidence of what took place. Franklin testified that she fired at Cooke in an act of self-defense, and since there wasn't much to refute her claim, a jury found her account credible. Okay. To some witnesses at the Inquisition, the proceedings seemed stacked in Franklin's favor. Cooke's lawyer was only allowed to ask Boyer and Franklin a limited number of questions, and their testimonies were short. Some of the attorney's questions were even denied. including his query into what Boyer did for a living. "We are not concerned with the occupation of the girl," the prosecutor replied. Boyer was later detained for solicitation. See me I tell us when the girl are whore. See it there? The girl are whore, man. Hold on, my people. Hold on a minute there. Hold on a minute there. Hold on a minute there. We'll stick a small pin on this. Okay, sir. Okay, we're back to this. It took a jury only 15 minutes to come to a verdict ruling that Franklin's actions were justified for the protection of life, limb, and property. Boyer lied on the stand about where she met Cooke. A few days after Cooke's demise, Franklin and Boyer testified at the medical examiner's inquest. Boyer took the stand reportedly showing little emotion and wearing a headscarf with dark sunglasses. Her version of the story differed greatly from those of other witnesses. Though witnesses claimed Boyer met Cooke at Martinez, Boyer said she met him at a dinner party in Hollywood where he sang a song for the guests. Boyer also alleged he took Cooke's clothing by accident. When police searched her purse, they found $20, but not Cooke's missing wallet, money or credit cards. As the only person in the car and motel room with Cooke, Boyer claims that she was snatched and nearly taken advantage of. Couldn't be investigated. You know, where she claimed Cooke snatched her and nearly tried to rape her or whatever she said. Couldn't be investigated. Watch this now. The woman who shoot him was sued. Franklin sued Cooke's family after she quit her motel job. When reporters asked to take Franklin's picture, she famously flashed them a smile. According to stories, she was previously a madam, meaning she may have had connections to less than legal enterprises. She run whorehouse, brothels, sex shops. Yeah, that's what a madam does. She have many girls at the place or whatever. She's the female version of a pimp. Okay, that's what that is. After the incident at the motel, Franklin claimed to have received numerous threats that forced her to leave her job and move more than once. She was allegedly so traumatized by the aftermath of Cooke's demise that she sued his estate for $200,000. Stories about the outcome of her lawsuit differ. Whilst one says she lost, another claims Cooke's family settled for $30,000. Franklin reportedly moved to Michigan and passed 18 months later. She died a year and 6 months later. Boyer was later detained for solicitation and was convicted of taking her boyfriend's life about a month after Cooke passed. You see? About a month later, she killed her man. And about a month later, this whore killed the next man who she picked up. Alright, police detained Boyer in Hollywood and charged her with solicitation according to the report. She solicited an undercover officer over the phone by requesting $40 to have relations with him and was then apprehended when she showed up at the hotel for the encounter. When Boyer's boyfriend perished in 1979, she was accused of taking his life. The case went to trial and she was convicted after a jury found her guilty. Now this time it's a white person, so she's found guilty this time. Alright. Cooke was not discreet about the cash he had on hand the night he perished. As a rapidly rising star on the verge of becoming more successful, as I tell you, young artists, not flash no money and go on somewhere, people observe, and sometimes the wrong energy I see it, so be careful. That me try warn me Jamaicans, Me warn a lot of young artists who are coming out the business. These girls are flat back at Uno. It's not them really interested in, is the stardom, the spotlight, and what them can possibly get at the moment. Enough of them will have sex with you, and just to make sure get your sperm in them, that them can say you rape them. Okay, alright. Cooke was in good financial position, dressed in a perfectly tailored suit from Side Viewer, and mimicking stars like Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra. Cooke looked the part of a stylish entertainment heavyweight. Witnesses claimed he carried a lot of cash with him the night he met Boyer and was very liberal with his spending. He bought dinner for his friends, the Schmidts, despite not eating with them. See, the contradict again. I remember somebody has said them did left by the time him and her come at the place. I fix them the story, them not fix so that the woman them could have get to do it. Just like the Inzinga case, how these girls claim them see the girl pop out her ear. And you cannot pull out a locks without it kind of ravel out and them ear there too smooth. But anyway, I could continue with this. Police discovered that most of Cooke's cash was gone when they arrived at the Hacienda Motel. Although he most likely bought drinks at the club, and according to motel owner Franklin, paid for a room in cash. He had only $108 in his pocket when he perished. Since Cooke's wallet and credit cards were also missing, theories emerged that robbers were responsible for taking his life. Likely as a result of his liberal spending while out with Boyer. Franklin made Boyer and Cooke check in as husband and wife. Right? That are the madam, the hotel madam. When Cooke put up at the hotel, at the Hacienda Motel, Franklin noticed Boyer in the car. Cooke left Boyer in his Ferrari and went inside to check in. Franklin said she didn't seem to be in any kind of distress. Franklin did, however, make Cooke register for the room as a married couple, since that was considered acceptable in '64. A black man and a white woman, yeah. If you check in as husband and wife, it's okay. Segregation, huh? Go on. Cooke signed in as Mr. and Mrs. Sam Cooke. Apparently not worried about hiding his real name. Some people later pointed out that if he had planned to violate her, Boyer, he likely would have used an alias. Cooke paid for the room in cash, and Franklin allegedly thought the couple was nothing more than a pair of lovers on a late-night quest for a room. Barbara Cooke, Sam's wife, married his backup singer 2 months after he perished. Although losing her husband was difficult, Barbara Cooke was not surprised he was with another woman. Cooke had a reputation as a womanizer, according to songwriter Bumps Blackwell. The Cookes reportedly had trouble with their marriage, although Blackwell, according to songwriter Blackwell, bumps. ABC. The Cookes reportedly had trouble with their marriage, although Barbara claimed she would have helped her husband out of the situation if she could, saying, "He had called me and told me he was in a hotel without any clothes to bring him something to wear. I'm his wife, no matter how it might sound, I would have done that." Despite her alliance, she attended Cooke's service with a bartender she had been dating, and the men arrived wearing Cooke's ring. Come on now. Let's check this back. Despite her allegiance, she attended Cooke's service with a bartender she had been dating, and the men arrived wearing Cooke's, and the man arrived wearing Cooke's ring and watch. That relationship didn't last long, and Barbara soon began dating Bobby Womack, who was Cooke's backup singer and friend. Womack and Barbara married 2 months after Cooke perished. So is she involved in this setup? Maybe as well. Is the man that she ended up dating, who arrived wearing Cooke's ring and watch, was he part of the tragedy? Or did Cooke have these things on when he died? Were they taken from the mortuary or whatever? How him come by it? Alright. Cooke, A Change Gonna Come, was released posthumously and became a civil rights anthem. Cooke began his career as a gospel singer before he became involved with pop music. Until he wrote A Change Is Gonna Come, he often kept social politics out of his songs. As he became more involved in the civil rights movement, Cooke felt the power of songs like Bob Dylan's Blowing in the Wind and wanted to write something that could inspire change. After he was turned away from a Louisiana venue in 1963 because of his race, Cooke could stay quiet no longer. Hold on, the people. Now back to it. About a month later, pardon me. After he was turned away from a Louisiana venue in 1963 because of his race, Cooke could stay quiet no longer. About a month later, he wrote A Change Is Gonna Come and released the song in February 1964 on Ain't That Good News. Cooke only played the song live once and didn't release it as one of the first singles, so audience didn't immediately take notice. It came out as a single after Cooke passed and was soon embraced as an anthem of the civil rights movement. We all feel the same way. We all feel in some way or another that a change is gonna come, and he found that lyric, biographer Peter Guralnick said, and that makes it almost endlessly adapted to whatever goal, whatever movement is of the moment. Other articles we may find on it say, Sam Cooke's 1964 murder case needs further exploration. Cooke died tragically on December 11, 1964 at the age of 33. Cooke rescued himself from what he considered to be financial insolvency by leaving the gospel industry, an industry that even in 2018 is still reputed to be outrageously frugal. For the more generous and profitable secular music industry, he admitted to Dick Clark when posed with the question, "Why do you leave gospel?" Responding, "For financial reasons." Possibly the same thing Lady Saya do right now. Cooke also had greater plans and wanted to be a music industry executive. At the time of his death, Cooke was living in the Los Feliz section of Los Angeles. He entered the music industry at the time when it was completely ruled by corruption. Broken legs, extremely shady deals, and ass kicking. It was a dangerous world that many of the gospel industry thought the former gospel singer was selling his soul for. Some even prophesying his early demise. So could those who prophesied be the orchestrators? Anyway, the gospel industry didn't see the bigger picture Cooke had in his mind, and his friend Lou Rawls stated Sam would have been the first Berry Gordy. Cooke said to be an astute businessman wanted to create a vehicle for other black singers to get out of being pigeonholed on the Billboard and R&B charts and chitlin circuits, and to make the money for the work they deserved. He himself crossed over in the days when very few black artists had the opportunity. In addition, Cooke owned his works and masters, and that didn't sit well with some people, according to elders in the industry. See, it goes on to say Cooke is murdered. Sleazy Quick Sex Motel where Cooke was murdered. The site has since been demolished. On the night that Sam Cooke was murdered, he had stopped by Lou Rawls' house to visit, and Lou's newborn baby would not stop crying. Rawls stated Cooke picked the baby up and said, "What's wrong, man?" But the baby continued to cry, and Rawls stated his German shepherd, who was always under the baby's crib, got up and left when Cooke came by, as if he knew something was wrong. Like the dog sensed the power of death. Alright. Rawls' mother later revealed to him that babies and animals have a keen sense when someone is about to die, see there, or tragedy is about to occur. Rawls stated even after Cooke left, his son would not stop crying, and he told Sam he couldn't go to PJ's because he thought his son was sick. Sam stopped by Martini's Italian restaurant in the San Fernando Valley outside of Los Angeles first to meet friends for dinner, and that's where he spotted an attractive Asian woman sitting with 3 men by the name of Elisa Boyer. You see, she spotted a China girl with 3 men. Elisa Boyer, who was 22 at the time, within no time Sam was cuddled up with Boyer in the boat. And them set her upon him. Not much was said about the 3 men, but Sam was with her and hanging out with some music industry people who were also there at the time. It's not clear if this or PJ's is where he met up with the K-Day DJs, but he and Boy eventually left and went to PJ's. The bar was a hangout for entertainers in LA, and Sam allegedly got into a heated argument with a few men in the club who were hitting on Boyer, and Boyer stated she asked Sam to take her home around 2 a.m. Knowing Sam was inebriated and agitated, instead of calling a cab, she willingly got into Cooke's new Ferrari and she said he was speeding on the 101 freeway. You know that freeway. She stated Sam got on the freeway against her repeated request to take her home and was driving towards the hood to go to the well-known sleazy motel Hacienda Heights, notorious for one-night stands and 1-hour rentals. Cooke and his wife were living separate lives because of the death of their youngest son, who drowned in the family pool. Cooke blamed his wife Barbara, but also felt guilty for not being there. The marriage was in shambles, and there were reports of extramarital activity on both ends of the story. But the story continues to take more strange turns. 11th of December 1964, Los Angeles, California, USA. Police said Mrs. Bertha Lee Franklin, 55, fired the shot that killed Sam Cooke, a popular singer with the teenage set, when he kicked in the door of her apartment. According to police, Mrs. Franklin, manager of a motel, had been warned previously on the telephone by another motel resident that there was a prowler on the premises. You see the turn attack? Officers said they learned he was searching for a female companion who was located later. Once Cooke and Boyer arrived at the hotel, Cooke got out of the car, leaving Boyer alone in the passenger seat while he went to register for the hotel. The clerk, Bertha Franklin, peered to the side of Cooke and saw Boyer in the car and informed him that he would have to register as Mr. and Mistress. This was a pristine opportunity for Boyer to escape or to signal Franklin that she was in trouble, unless they were working together. Franklin and Boyer. After all, Cooke was registered for a sleazy hotel room. If she thought she was in danger, as she later stated in the short trial, wearing dark glasses and understand during her testimony, something that would never be allowed today, why didn't she use this opportunity to get away? It appeared she was not telling the whole story. Cooke's attorney barely had a chance to question her or anyone else, as the trial was very brief and one-sided according to witnesses. Boyer stated that Cooke dragged her into the room while drunk and took off his clothes. And then he proceeded to take off her sweater and skirt, leaving her on the bed with her bra and panties on. She stated she was sure he was about to rape her, but then he stopped and went to the bathroom. Even women close to the situation on Sam's behalf stated that that's not how situations like this go. Other women. So that's not how situations like this go. Man now try rape and get up, stop and go bathroom, left you, so. Nah. These were the days before rape kits and DNA, so part of the investigation was never completed, and it was never determined if Cooke or Boyer had actually had sex. Cooke was always said to carry at least $2,000 cash in his wallet, which in 1964 was like $20,000. We're talking about a time when the average rent for an apartment was $75 to $100 a month. Since he had been buying drinks and dinner and was inebriated, there was no question Boyer saw the wad of cash he was carrying. However, after the murder took place and she left the pants in the street, they found a money clip with a mere $108, and all his credit cards were missing. This makes no sense. If someone found a wallet full of cash on the street, why would they leave $108? Moreover, still in the clip, unless they wanted it to look like a robbery. Look like robbery was not a motive. Boyer stated she grabbed her clothes when she ran out of the room when he went to the bathroom. If he disrobed first, wouldn't her clothes have been easily accessible by being on top of his? This 16th of December 1964, Los Angeles, California. Witness an alleged prostitute, Elisa Boyer, wearing a disguise, testified during the coroner's inquest of the murder of soul singer Sam Cooke. Many historians stated that this was a quick and racist trial, as today nobody would be allowed to wear a disguise. Understand? A recording of Boyer's testimony appeared to be dishonest and calculated. She had no emotion, which led many to believe she and Bertha were working in concert to have Sam murdered. The woman Elisa Boyer, who allegedly helped set up Sam Cooke's murder, years later she was arrested for killing her husband in 1979. It is alleged the motel ran a prostitution ring, and Bertha Lee, wow, Bertha Lee, the name Lee, Asian as well. Hotel manager was a pimp, let me say earlier up, and Elisa was one of her whores. Cooke's action when he discovered his wallet and clothing were missing upon returning to the bathroom, according to the desk clerk, a portly 55-year-old former madam by the name of Bertha Franklin, didn't add up either. She stated he banged on the office door looking for the woman, completely naked except for one shoe and a suit jacket. Today the first thing that would be done is a toxicology report on Cooke's blood, and there is very good chance it would have been discovered he was probably slipped a Mickey or some other drug by his alleged bizarre action. Wouldn't even a drunk person wrap themselves in a sheet instead of walking to the office naked? See it there? She stated he got physical with her and they fell to the floor. She was 30 pounds heavier than him and managed to wrestle herself away from the drunk Cooke and ran to grab the gun off the top of the fridge and shot at him 3 times. She missed twice, was pierced his heart with the third bullet killing him. She stated he lunged at her one last time, and she hit him with a broomstick. Why not just shoot him again? His last words, according to her, was, "Lady, you shot me." Franklin later smiled when asked to take a picture for the press after the murder. Singer Etta James went to view Cooke's corpse and immediately knew the whole story was not being told. She stated Sam was so badly beaten he was almost decapitated, and both of his hands were bruised and completely crushed as if he had been in the fight for his life. In addition, she said his nose was mangled. Some have speculated Sam was set up and robbed by Boyer and Franklin. In addition, Cooke was placed in a coffin with a glass top, preventing people from touching him or examining why he had on heavy makeup. Boyer was arrested just a few months after Cooke's death for prostitution, and she ended up getting arrested again for murdering her husband in '79. No words on what happened to Bertha Franklin, except she had moved because of numerous death threats. She turned around and sued Sam Cooke estate for killing him for $200,000, like $1 million in the 60s, for anguish and physical injuries that it took for her to kill him. She was awarded $30,000 as settlement. It is beyond evident that there is a lot more to this story. Cooke would be 86 if he is still alive today. Some speculate that Cooke's former manager Alan Klein may have had some involvement in the situation. Klein had Cooke sign an agreement for a company he created called Tracy Limited, named after Cooke's daughter, that would allow Cooke to be spared of IRS scrutiny, but that greatly benefited Klein as the owner of Sam's work if he died. A lot of artists' work go to producers and distributors after they die. You're more beneficial to a lot of people dead. A lot of people in some of them 9-to-5 jobs don't even know that they are very valuable to their bosses upon death, because the bosses insure them. That's why you hear about workplace insurance. Okay. Sam's wife Barbara ended up selling the remainder of Sam's work to Klein. See there? Sam Cooke and his second wife Barbara. Cooke's life and everybody involved with him were in shambles. His wife His wife and he were living separate lives in their home in LA and were on the verge of divorce. His first wife died in a car accident. His mentee before he died, 21-year-old Bobby Womack, ended up marrying his wife, Barbara, just 3 months after his Cooke's death in '65, getting him blackballed in the industry. Bobby Womack, yeah. Barbara allegedly found out Bobby and her then 18-year-old daughter by Cooke was having an affair in 1970, and she divorced him. Then her daughter ended up marrying Womack's younger brother Cecil, and they formed the singing group Womack and Woman, and had the hit single Baby I'm Scared of You in the 80s. Finally, Bobby lost several of his kids tragically as well and ended up with a severe cocaine habit in the 80s. Points to consider in this case. Was Sam set up by the two women and led to the hacienda for a trap where the three men who were at the bar were waiting in the room to beat Cooke to death? Was Boyer one of Bertha Franklin's whores? Who were the three men at the bar with Elisa? Why was money left in the clip? What happened to the credit cards? Did Boyer really take a lie detector test? Are any of Boyer's clothes still in evidence? Did Cooke's manager Alan Klein have anything to do with the situation? People, these are the questions where, remember those two people, they're Asian, Bertha Lee Franklin. She must have been married and kept the last name after marriage. The Franklin I did after marriage. And then Bertha Lee and Elisa Boyer, the Asians, what we call Chinese. They're working together. So, Boy, I find the trick and bring it to the place. The man them that was our bodyguards were out the road with them at night. Cause the three man could be the man them were out the road there with their cars. Oh, she in the booth with three man. And within minutes, the three man disappear and leave her with Cooke. That Cooke get in there with she. And really now, you have 3 shots of drinks. Years me up and down in a music business. How was a night to their road? And what you gonna tell me? 3 drink make a man lose himself a pride and don't even use a towel and wrap around him waist. He might come out of somewhere. He might go meet other people. He might go downstairs naked except for him jacket and a pair of 1 foot of shoes. Those are the things me I tell you. People in high places can orchestrate things and set things the mediocre mind cannot fathom. You see, this setup, the court quickly, the prosecution deny any chances. The prosecution deny the family lawyer. The judge deny the prosecution any chance of questioning the morality of the accused. They're not interested in what the accused does. The first thing they would do with a black person was question him what him do, so as to start establishing credibility. But not in these cases. When a black man dead by the hands of any other race, it's very hardly likely that that other race really gets punished. Yes, we can see the 3 people who kill Ahmaud Arbery in a remarkable case turnaround in the Florida thing. The 3 of them get charged of murder and the racial apartheid. Them get found guilty both at state level and federal level. That's a nice move. That's a signature move happen, especially in Florida, where them kill black people at will. A lot of people might not know. Alright, no one admit to it, so them know. So, we still a question, who really do the setting up of Sam Cooke, especially in an era where shortly after that, Muhammad Ali went to prison, Malcolm X got killed, and this man was associating with both of those people. My people, leave your opinions in the comment section as to what you think happened there. Me just give you what information me get out the panties. And big up yourself, my brethren. You're there a virgin or you link me, you make me know where I go and I say whatever. And now I go expose you. You see the boat all over the country. Sometime in the week you only get 14 hours sleep for the whole week. Boy, don't run yourself to wreck. I know you love your job. We come from far, but don't run yourself to wreck. You get older now. If me consider myself I get old, you're close to 60. Don't run yourself to too much a wreck. You soon reach retirement age. Calm yourself down and get some sleep. Get more sleep a week time. Get more comfortable. Go spend a little time with your kids them and grandkids and family. Anyway, people. Give thanks for watching and listening. And if you find this video in any way interested, hit that like button and share it with a friend, and please don't forget to comment. Give me your opinion in the comment section. And as usual, hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell to get some further updates. Cause me I come with next video me I'll do is one based on Jamaican artists that some Jamaican artists that have ended up tragically after saying something in their songs. Some artists that have been either sent to prison or end up tragic after saying in their song something in their songs that government find offensive. Peace out with people. Catch you next time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I know. Change gonna come. Yes, I know. Things and time will change. Yes, I know. Change gon' come. Yes, I know that change gon' come. People are sick, but nobody wants to speak. People are sick, but nobody wants to speak. Yes, I know, change gon' come. Yes, I know, change gon' come. Yes, I know, change gon' come. Long time ago over yonder Rasta stretch forth his hand to the seawater. Means of unity, some on the earth structure. They live volcano and them sun lava. Ashes and smoke and the one named fire come on the ocean of the earth to retreat after. Clear the land of darkness that will be forever. For the man who is so humble and I seek Africa. Seeking the change and the change will come one day. Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. Change gon' come. Yes, I know that things in time will change. Yes, I know change gon' come, Lord. Yes, I know change gon' come.